Um, Hi everyone, Sailor Mars here, Sailor Red World here, Ray here, and today I'm going to talk about, you know, would Renaissance Atlantic Sailor Moon get hate from the Sailor Moon followership? Well, first off, I don't know if it would or would not, so I'm just going to make a guess. Now, since there are folks out there who hate the Deke and Pioneer or Pathseeker or Cloverway Sailor Moon, yes, there would have been folks who would have hated the Renaissance Atlantic or New Birth Great Sea Sailor Moon. And yes, they would hate it, under the grounds that it wasn't it wasn't a trusted following of Sailor Moon. That it didn't follow all the things that happened either in the book, or it didn't follow, all the things that happened in the drawing show that Toei made. So they would start doing nitpicks. Sorry, my hair. There we go. They would start doing nitpicks. Like, the first thing they would do is they would nitpick on, little things. Like, oh, Queen Beryl has a starship, and she's after the Stones of Might. Which I guess if you stop to think of it, the Stones of Might might only be a unlike name for the Rainbow Hearse. So, yeah. But they would bitch about that. Then they would also not like or be irked or angered over Luna being white instead of being black. That's something else they would have been irked at. I'm not making it up. That's something they would have been angry at. And we know from dealing with past dealings that they also would have hated in any names that they came up with. So they would have hated Victoria, Amy, Dana, Sarah and Carrie. They would have hated those, they would have hated those, I guess, those Latinists, those Frenchists, and Hebrewists borrowed names. And Farsiest borrowed names because you got Darien. So they would have hated that. So that was something they would make a big deal of. And you would have known that a show being half live drawing and half live work would have also pissed them off in some way. They would have bitched about how the show started out as a live show and then how it became a drawing show once they shape shifted. So that's what would have pissed them off. They would have gotten irked or angered over that. And I think at the end of the day, they would have gotten irked and angered over, street names and near names being shifted. But then again, since it was set in the 4-1 Reichs, or the 4-1 Kingdom or whatever English-speaking land they set the show to be in, they couldn't bitch about street names and near names, though. But I think they would have. So I do think that they would have also, and I think they also would have, seeked things they didn't like about it, like the songs. I guess there would have been some folks in the Sailor Moon followership making a big deal about the opening song and the opening song and the ending song and whatever. And then like most of the folks in the Sailor Moon followership, they would have, done some learning, and then they would have learned where tune makers or drawing makers or Renaissance Atlantic or New Birth Great Sea, what were they borrowed and fostered, from Sailor Moon. So that would have made them hate it more. And there would have been folks thinking, then there would have been some folks in the Sailor Moon followership that would have wished that Deke or Pioneer or Cloverway or, I don't know, Hanna-Barbera or whoever would have gotten the rights to work with it. Because they would have wished that some business would have gotten the rights to work with it. because they thought those businesses couldn't have done anything, that those businesses would have done a more good work than Renaissance Atlantic, our new birth great seat. So at the end of the day, I do think there would have been folks in the Sailor Moon followership who would have been irked and angered, who would have been irked and angered over Renaissance Atlantic Sailor Moon. I can't say that to be known to be true, since Renaissance Atlantic Sailor Moon or New Birth Great Sea Sailor Moon only had one saga to its name, and no one saw it until the 8th month of 20, at the end of the 8th month of 2020 YL. So, yeah, I'm just making my guesses if they would have been irked or angered over it, and I would have think they would. So let me know what you think about it. Do you think that Sailor Moon would have gotten hate from the Sailor Moon followership? Sailor Red, Sailor Mars, Sailor Red World Ray, and I'll see you later.